Because the tides are rising.
So must we.
Rise.
To this moment.
Rise.
To this day.
Rise.
To this life.
This place on the web.
That is yours and ours.
Rise.
Because the earth remains
our only home.
And we,
fellow travelers,
its only hope.
For healing.
Wholeness.
Salvation.
Rise.
Before the mystery.
Before the Big Bang.
That started it all.
That this infinite universe
still takes notice of us.
Still feels the in and out of our breath.
Still holds us.
Connects us.
Rise.
Or surrender.
With gratitude.
For this beauty.
This chance.
To be a part of it all.
To give back.
To weave.
Life.
Past.
Present.
Future.
Everywhere. Always.
As one.
Come. Let us worship together.
Good morning. My name is Pam Rumancik, and I'm a cisgendered queer white woman whose pronouns are she and hers. And I'm also really glad to be serving this congregation and really happy to be back with you this morning.
My name is Reverend Karen Mooney, and I am a queer, lesbian, white person whose pronouns are she, her, but still struggles to remember it all. I don't know if you do, but that is my story. We will be serving as co-ministers to this dynamic congregation this year, and we are really glad to get this year started.
We're starting off a little bit differently, so we're going to start with the song right now that gets us started. All the words will be on the screen, but I'm thinking some of you won't even need them. So please rise in body or spirit as we sing the theme to Gilligan's Island.
What a fun start. May the flame of this chalice, the symbol of our faith, connect us to all who have come before us, all who are with us in body and spirit, and all who are yet come into being. May it serve as a reminder of our unity and connection across all time and space. My name is Ellen Vinzanti. My pronouns are she, her. Our church shares a covenant that we make with one another, a promise that helps to remind us of why we gather and how we want to be with one another. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in saying our covenant together. We unite to strengthen the bonds of kinship among all persons, to promote human dignity, and to increase reverence for life's creating, sustaining, and transforming power through worship, study, and service.
Now we're going to have a picture of a backpack come up on the screen, one can hope, and we're going to invite anybody who's brought a backpack to come up to the front and bring your backpack and lay it down here so we can... Anybody recognize that backpack? Dora. Of course, adults with backpacks, everybody who has one, come on up. Dora used her backpack to help her have it for all her adventures. And backpacks can be really helpful for carrying the stuff. When we were in school, many of us were in school, we didn't have backpacks, so you had to carry all your stuff in your arms, and you dropped it often. So our kids have it so easy these days. But we have a tradition. You could stay there.
Any other sneaky backpacks out there? It's okay.
We have a tradition.
Huh?
We have a tradition.
We do have a tradition.
Oh, it was on, no? Yeah, it's the beginning of the year. We'll get back in the hang of it. We have a tradition is where you begin.
Apparently we have a tradition, which is awesome. I'm sure we have many traditions, and some of them I might even know about, and some of them I likely do not. So if I ever miss a tradition, please feel free to learn me up some and let me know what's going on. We have a tradition of blessing backpacks at the beginning of the school year because so often kids get new backpacks to help them carry everything. I don't know if you've ever seen these kids. They're weighed down with books. Back and forth when they're leaving the house for school, when they're leaving the house to learn something, when the adults are leaving the house to do other important things. But we also have quite a few kids in our tend care who are homeschooled, which means they don't go away to learn so much as they stay in to be taught by people that they know and love. For those, we don't necessarily have a formal backpack, though many people do still, but all of our backpacks are much like the backpack that Dora had, the backpack of life that helps us to carry with us all of those things we need to remember when we are out and about in the world, and some things we need to remember when we are at home as well. Adults might have backpacks too. I see a couple of them up here, which is awesome. Thank you. As the school year starts, as well as in our outside world, I want you to think about some of these questions. And I'd invite us all to answer, what are you most excited about for this new school year? Anybody have an answer? Yeah.
I'm excited my son is no longer in middle school, which is usually the worst for people, and he's now in high school and much happier about it.
Awesome. Very excited that son is going to high school. Whoa, awesome. Anybody else? What's exciting about this new school year? Okay. What's something that you're a little nervous about with this beginning of a new year? Failure. Yeah. Julie.
Not here, but I heard on the radio that they're in California, they're protecting the kids from the ice people who are coming to take
Got it.
families away.
Yep.
So they're really protecting everybody, hopefully.
There's some scary things that are happening in our world. And one of the things that we know is that we can do hard things. That we can show up in places where sometimes it might not feel as safe as we want it to. That we can let our kids move forward into spaces where they are able to be themselves and bring with them the values that they learn here so that they can live out in the world in the way that they wish to and that we wish for them.
So, what's something that you hope to try this year that you haven't done yet? Anybody have something that they're thinking they might do? Yes?
Retirement.
Retirement. That's very good. Any other things that people are thinking they might try? Yes? Joining the choir. How exciting. Awesome.
Sneaky to say that when Allison's not here.
Is there something that you would like to carry in your backpack that nobody else could see, but that you know that you're bringing? And it might be something like hope. It might be something like kindness. Any ideas of something you'd like to carry with you all the time with your backpack that nobody else? A squirrel. Openness to new discoveries and experiences. That's a great thing. Huh? Optimism. We could all put that in our backpacks these days, huh? Yeah. Chocolate. Just don't leave in the sun, William. Otters. Okay.
That would be very fun. So, how can you help someone else feel welcome this year? This is not a question that we're going to answer right here. But if what we carry in our backpacks, whether literal or figurative, are all of the things that we want for the world, or all of the things that we want for ourselves, or all of those things that we think that we're going to need. Oh, what are we going to need? What if we added into our backpacks that helps us to welcome people and helps us to remember that always we live in a circle, not in a box. So not something to answer here? Oh, Laura, yeah, please.
Google Translate.
Google Translate, or that AI translator that I just saw somebody, yes, awesome. Google Translate. Yeah. Introducing yourself to someone new. Wow, that takes courage. Awesome. I'm going to invite you to use that as a prompt to talk to one another in coffee hour. What is it that you're adding to your backpack this year that will help you to make sure that that circle is getting wider?
Okay, so we have some water here from last year's water communion, and we're going to use that to bless all these backpacks, and we're going to bless all our metaphorical black backpacks at the same time, so that we all are carrying the love of this community with us. So I'm going to ask everybody to raise your hand and imagine all the love that's in your heart flowing out of your hand and landing on these backpacks and on all the backpacks in the room as we sprinkle our water communion water on all of them. And Karen might even shoot some out into the crowd as well.
Oh my gosh.
So
You're in the splash zone.
So as you carry this backpack, may you also carry with you the love of your family, your teachers, and this church community. The light of curiosity, the fire of courage, the strength to do hard things, and the gentleness to care for others. Finally, carry with you the joy of learning and wisdom, and the wisdom to always listen with a wide open heart.
As you come back up to get your backpacks, and thank you for that blessing. It's a funny thing, blessings in Unitarian churches, but what I would say is that cosmically, we don't know where the energy comes from that we have. We don't know exactly how we send it out, nor do we know how we gather it. So that intention of sending into all of these backpacks and into these blessed elements that go onto them is our grace, is our place of being willing to say maybe, and to stay open to the curiosity of all that we do not yet know, and perhaps to all that remains unknowable. So as you come back up and claim your backpack, I hope that you'll take a little charm with you, or a pin to take with you to add to the things that you collect. And if you didn't bring a backpack up, there will be charms in the back if you want to take them home with you. Now's the time to come and get your backpacks.
Yeah. May this year be filled with questions, discoveries, friendships, and moments of wonder. You are not alone. We are with you every step of the way. So go throughout this coming year with love, go with hope, go with courage, and may all of our journeys, all of your journeys, be blessed. And we're going to, because since we're doing everything a little bit differently today, we'll do the Wonder Box a little bit later. So there you go. And we'll invite Elizabeth to come on up and do our offering next.
Many of us dream of having a huge impact in our community. It's a challenge to have that impact alone, but together, with a spirit of generosity, financial gifts, time, and love, we'll fulfill our mission. Together, we'll create a beloved community. Together, we'll inspire, heal, and belong. The offering will now be gratefully received.
I love the way the offering is a physical manifestation of all of the support and energy we put into this church in so many ways. And it's always so beautiful to end with one of Janice's beautiful pieces. But now I invite you to just breathe and relax and settle into your chairs, and we're halfway there. And allow any tension that's still remaining in your body to drain down your neck, back, shoulders, down through your hips, thighs, knees, ankles, out the bottom of your feet into the rich earth below us. Take a deep breath in, and a cleansing breath out. Pay attention to this very moment. Listen, breathe, feel, know through your heart, know. In the sunlight, in the warmth, in the community all around, what do you notice? We share this ground with spiders and caterpillars, with robins and blue jays, with joggers and dog walkers, with soccer players and baseball teams, with bicyclists and folks rushing to catch a train. We share it with the mourning, the grieving, the anxious, and also with the anticipating, the hopeful, the longers for a better world. We share it with lovers and seekers and friends. What gift does this morning have to offer us? What gift will we find if we open our eyes? If each and every one of us peeks within her larder of secret delights, expecting and finding rich, sustaining fare. This is the place where we recognize the joys and concerns of this congregation. If you have something to share during the week, make sure you let us know in the office, or email me, or call one of the members of the lay pastoral care team. You can simply leave a message at the office. And we're going to start today with a big thank you to Mari Van Meter, who put together a beautiful animal blessing service last Sunday. Talked about how animals bless our lives in so many ways. People brought rats, a parrot, dogs, and celebrated our connection to the more than human world. And that was truly a blessing. We're also going to say thank you to all the people who showed up for the workday last Saturday. I'm going to say all their names because there weren't that many. Don Beck, Judy Ball, Lisa Gilly, Laura and Riley Corrigan, Victoria Hathaway, Barb Perry, Lois and Jeff Phillips, Pat and Craig Wydell. Karen and I were here for a while too. And so much cleaning and painting and furniture moving. And make sure you notice the new columns that Jeff decorated at that time, that they just look beautiful and they will not be scuffed all the time. It's a win-win. But don't worry, if you missed out on that all day, there will be more. And you can join us. And we had a great time. For all those other intentions which rest in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, for people who are recovering, for people who are grieving, for all of those things which make up a full human life, know that you are in our hearts. Know that you are held and you are loved. Please join me in singing Spirit of Life.
Serve
invite our young kids to come, young and young at heart, to come up for our Wonder Box and story.
It's the Wonder Box. Okay. So, hi, Scott. Hi, William. I know. So this service today is about Gilligan's Island and a little bit about backpacks. What do you think might be in the Wonder Box? Yeah. A ship. Okay. Any guesses, Scott? No? Any guesses out here? What do you think might be in the Wonder Box?
A pencil.
A pencil, a fish.
That was last year.
Okay.
Coconut. That's a good guess.
Well, I'm wondering, William, if you would like to open the box today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was right.
Oh! There's so few times we get to say that in life. We should celebrate it. A ship. Awesome. So if you want to stay up here, Reverend Pam's going to read a story today.
Yeah, we're mixing everything up. So the story we're doing is Where the Wild Things Are, so I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. We'll start off with the night that Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. And his mother called up, "Wild thing!" And Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And the ocean tumbled by with a private boat just for Max, and he sailed off through night and day, in and out of weeks, on almost over a year to where the wild things are. When he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still." And he tamed them with a magic trick of staring into all of their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were so frightened, and they called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all the wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus begin. And there were pages and pages and pages of rumpusing. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. And then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are, and he sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. And that's the end of our story.
Today's reading is by Albert Einstein. A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Thus ends the reading.
It's so good to be back. and talking with you about really big, important ideas like Gilligan's Island. Topical? Well, maybe tropical. Is there anybody out there not at all familiar with the tune to Gilligan's Island that we sang today? Anybody that never heard it? I was hoping. I know maybe younger generation didn't hear it. Oh, somebody. Okay, well, sorry. Well, hopefully you learned something today. I suspect for many people, though, that Gilligan's Island is familiar and comfortable, even if it was a pretty dumb show with a pretty irrational premise. I mean, somehow 7 people who were on a 3-hour sightseeing tour brought along enough stuff to have everything they needed to have a pretty good life. They had a radio, changes of clothing, all the scientific equipment they needed to build everything with coconuts. Kind of like a grocery store today, I guess. But this goofy sitcom captured the imagination of the country and still kind of remains with us in some way in our cultural memory. In some ways, it's not surprising. Being out on a beautiful island away from the craziness of modern life sounds very attractive, especially with what's going on around the world now. And interestingly enough, it was a cultural moment in our nation's history that's very similar to where we are right now, because it was smack in the middle of the very turbulent 60s, and there was a big generational divide, and it was all overshadowed by the Cold War. We have differing dividing lines now, and we are overshadowed by global climate change, but it still has a lot of coincidences. Gilligan's Island only ran from 1964 to 1967. But it lasted for decades in syndication, and its title character, Bob Denver, became a cultural icon. And in fact, I was looking up, how you look up one thing on YouTube, and then YouTube keeps sending you more and more information about Gilligan's Island then? So there's one of those mojo things that had 20 things you didn't know about Gilligan's Island. And one of them was, remember, the very first season, the song didn't have the Professor and Mary Ann, and everybody was really mad about that. They should be included, and the studio heads didn't want to add them, so Bob Denver said he wouldn't come to work until they changed it, and they did. So yay, Bob Denver. Another very sad thing is they were that first trial run of sitcoms that they never made any money from all those residuals. So they had to do like visiting and the reunion things to make any money because their contracts were so bad. But it changed all the contracts after them so that actors got paid a little bit more. The creator, Sherwood Schwartz, once claimed that he modeled the castaways on the 7 deadly sins of Christianity. So Skipper was anger, the movie star Ginger was lust, the professor who didn't ever have a real name was pride. It's kind of weird. The millionaire, Mr. Howell, represented greed, and Mrs. Howell was sloth. Mary Ann was the all-American girl, but she represented envy because she always seemed too put out by Ginger's glam. And that left Gilligan representing gluttony. He was a skinny guy, and it seems a stretch, but they said it was his insatiable curiosity which usually got them into trouble. So it wasn't wanting too much food, but it was wanting too much knowledge in some ways that always, when they thought they were going to make it home, Gilligan turned the thing around and they failed once again. It was very simple viewing, and it made it easy to watch because you knew who was trouble, how they were going to behave, what was going to happen. It was just a question of how they were going to do it this week. And island life, which seems predictable and maybe even a little boring, holds a lot of attraction when the world seems to be going off the rails. It's why Karen and I watch a lot of British game shows when we fall on the couch at the end of the day. It's like, we just want that mindless giggle, not to work too hard. And I think it's maybe why Gilligan's Island came to mind lately. Karen and I sometimes sing as we drive around in our car, and I don't know how, we started singing the theme to Gilligan's Island, and we remembered almost all the words, which was just a little crazy. But most of my Gilligan's Island viewing came after school, laying on the couch watching Gilligan and all his people. And the interesting thing, that is definitely a simpler time in my life that I don't mind looking back upon. Life was supposedly hard on the island. The theme song says, no phone, no boat, no motor car, not a single luxury. But they had me at no phone. Sign me up. The castaways always knew what the weather was going to be like and who they were going to see and what they were going to eat, even if they did get tired of coconut. And they were united in a fundamental way because they all wanted to go back home. When they bickered and competed against one another is when things went wrong. But when remembered their shared plight and when they cooperated and acted from compassion and humility and kindness, they could always pull together and come up with some solution to whatever the major problem was. Now, there were a number of articles when I was looking about the theology of Gilligan's Island, and there was even a Bible video study plan claiming to examine each of the deadly sins through the characters. One of the more interesting or goofy theories claimed that Gilligan was actually the devil, and the island was hell. Seemingly innocuous and kind, he always made the crucial mistakes that kept them on the island. And Gilligan did wear red in every episode. But as a true Unitarian Universalist, I don't believe there's a supernatural being whose goal is to torture human beings and make us miserable. I do have a theology of evil which says it's in our inability to recognize our interconnection with one another and our interconnection with the wider world that is the source of all of our pain and suffering. The modern archetype of the devil is an entity which makes us forget our birthright connection. It's found in every ad promising that if we just buy the right stuff, then we'll be happy. What are we really longing for? We circle back to our story about Max, where the wild things are. It's a story that's simple and familiar. I mean, who didn't fantasize about running away when they were a kid and making their mom mad? I know I can remember I had this elaborate plan of how I was going to walk 5 miles to my cousin's house because I was so mad at my mom, and that would teach her. I don't remember the rest of the story, but if it went to our usual pattern, she came in to talk to me, she listened, she helped me understand why whatever was happening had to happen, and she reminded me that she loved me and that I was already where I wanted to be. Kind of like Max's mom leaving his warm dinner for him in his room. When you are loved, when you are seen, when you're known, you feel like you're at home. You don't need anything else, despite our relentless claims of late-stage capitalism. So what about these castaways? I've come to think the island is just a metaphor for life. This life that we find ourselves in today. We don't know how we got here. We don't remember charting a course. We don't have very much control over what's going to happen next. And we're stuck with a bunch of characters who sometimes drive us bonkers. And a lot of the time, it can feel like we're longing for something just beyond our reach. An ideal life where people show up, where they keep their promises, where they treat one another fairly, where they never abandon us, and always see and appreciate who we are, and allow us to show up and appreciate who they are. Why don't you just stop for a minute and think about if you got to be the author of your life. What would the stage directions be for your life? What would it look like if you were in charge? Just give this about 30 seconds to think about that. Maybe 15 seconds, but take it home with you when you're driving home. Because I think about that sometimes, and what always comes back to me is that it might be great, except for all those unintended consequences. Because with my limited understanding of all the connections and all the things that go on in the world, making something right over there might actually make something really bad over there. In fact, life feels like whack-a-mole much of the time. You take care of one thing and something else pops up that never would have been there if you didn't knock that thing down. So I think what we're really longing for is a way to live into the lives that we have, to trust what's in front of us is going to be enough, it's going to hold us. Because I suspect the one truly universal aspect of being human is that we want to know we belong. Our little guy Max explored the wild, wild world and found that none of it really filled him up. What he truly longed for was back home. And our folks on the island, what did they really need? They had food, information through that amazing transistor radio. They had shelter and relationships. They had a beautiful place to live. And instead of looking longingly out to sea, what if they'd simply counted their blessings? What if they had said, this is pretty darn good, guys? Instead of being sinful archetypes, what if they'd lived with humility and kindness? Now we know sin creates more drama, and so it's much more entertaining to watch. But simply being present to our deepest and truest selves and being kind to the people around us can give us that kind of peace that I feel we're often struggling to find. Because we all are part of one bonded reality. Our separation is simply an illusion, and each of us is part of a much greater whole. We're like a drop of water sparkling in the sun that's going to splash back down into the ocean. Because the interconnected web is not only an ecological model, it's a theological model. Each of us is the ineffable, the incomprehensible universe looking back upon itself, even if we only can experience it within the finite bodies that we inhabit for a short bit of time. The poet Rumi wrote, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." And do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you. Maybe it's simply our perceptions which have to shift, not our locations or situations. I mean, some things need to change, and some things can just change how we experience them. What if all we need to do is just simply feel the abundance that is right outside our windows, the abundance that is all around us? The illusion of separation is particularly strong these days. The us versus them pervades everything that we see and hear. And we don't have to live in a dead world that exists for our exploitation. We can see that living, breathing reality which supports us and loves us back. My hope for every one of us in the coming year is that we all help each other shift our perceptions of the world, that we notice what is in this moment, and we appreciate and live into what is good, even as that goodness inspires us to do what we can to make the world better for other people. It's one of the biggest paradoxes of life, the both ands. The yes, we have to be here and present and alive, and then that wonder and that joy and that gratitude inspires us to help people who need us. It's one of the things the Sunday evening alternative service aims to do. It aims to help us remember our connection in an embodied way with chanting and movement and conversation, to try to make visible the intertwined reality that we all exist within. And it's something that we do every Sunday morning in a different way. I think the main reason we come to church is to remember that we belong, is to remember that we cannot be separated from this amazing reality, is to remember that each and every person here is just another aspect of that place we share. So I hope you will help me in creating an island of sanity, a place where we are known and know one another, a place where we can laugh at the absurdities of life no matter what is going on around us, and a place where we all call this our common home. We don't have to go looking far afield because we're already here. Now, Luis is going to play a short video that I found to end our time together. And it's very short, so we're going to go through, we're going to watch it once, and then he's going to restart it, and we're going to watch it again. Amen, and blessed be.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Please rise in body and spirit and sing the theme song to Gilligan's Island. Part two.
Yeah, we gotta laugh, right? It's still summer. I still get to do funny things, right? Our benediction is from the brilliance of dawn. There comes a time when everyone's life, when we can't see the passage of it for answers. In every journey, there is darkness and there is light. There is fear and there is hope. As we travel through our chapters of time, we often forget that we are the light which illuminates our whole being. Serenity arrives when we are able to recognize and accept ourselves in an ever-changing world where we welcome and cherish our rarity. This is one of the rarest, most treasured gifts we will find in this lifetime. Go have fun.